thank everybody for giving me a long weekend last weekend. Happy Easter to those of you that I missed and didn't get a chance to talk to. It was a fantastic weekend in celebration of accomplishments and family and time together and spending time away from the camera and away from the mic just a little bit to appreciate the people that spend the most time with you. And certainly my wife and kids get a lot of credit for the amazing life that I have today. And they are certainly the reason that I work as hard as that I do. Today, we're going to talk about what gets us back to some of the biggest generative allowances that we have inside of the real estate market. And I'm afraid there's still a lot of us out there that don't take advantage of this very simple technique. And we forget that because they didn't train us to do this when we got our license, maybe we shouldn't be taking the time and the effort to do it this way. But real estate farming and becoming a go-to agent in not just your community, but in a small area, in a golden neighborhood, is critical to your success. I'm here to tell you, my experience farming for real estate business is the most lucrative and dependable lead generation strategy for all real estate agents, period, bar none. It's very easy to get started, very reasonably inexpensive. And you can think about it this way. Your commission from selling just one home can pay for all of your farming efforts throughout the year and generate 10 times the contacts and the leads from one closing that you will never get from any other type of lead gen. So what is farming and how does it relate to real estate? Real estate farming itself, again, it's a lead generation. It's a marketing strategy. Agents use this to generate very consistent business from a geographic area. And I'll talk about why I specify geographic in just a moment. But agents farm a specific neighborhood by providing very consistent value while they are generating leads that evolve into long-term clients through relationships. This practice is also going to help build a very reliable business model. Ultimately, the goal is going to be become your local expert, the go-to agent, if you will, for a particular geographic area. And I keep pushing on that word because geographic farming should not be confused by other things we're talking about inside of our coaching every week, which would be demographic farming. Demographic, you're focusing on the marketing efforts of a certain set of people, such as first-time homebuyers, senior citizens, military relocations, which we just talked about a few weeks ago, or even equestrian or golfing communities. You can read more about that in some of our blogs on our website. If you haven't gone to the Keystone website before, KeystonePropertyConsulting.com. Very valuable information there and quick information about how you can get in touch with us and the different things that we do. And of course, markers to be able to get back to this show. So how to approach real estate farming is ultimately 4 steps, 4 and only 4. Choose your neighborhood, plan your content, set up a tracking system, deliver the value. So let's walk them from the top to the bottom, shall we? Targeting the right neighborhood. Number 1, the success of your farming strategy is going to totally depend on you choosing the right area. A good farm is going to include between 100 and 250 homes, noting that each of the home that you add to your farm is going to increase your budget. You're looking for consistency, and this will quickly add up. And you have to be careful because if you're just pounding on the same dirt and it's not producing value, you need to know when it's time to pull up stakes and build a new farming area. But again, we'll talk about that. A lot of agents start with way too many homes. They cannot keep up. They drop their farming effort in just a few months because they're simply trying to work way too much area, spreading themselves too thin and spreading their budget even thinner. You need to keep your farming area small so that you can maximize the effort and lead generation probability. Napkin math, let's make it simple for everybody, right? Find an area where there's healthy demand, homes are actively listed, and you get a solid turnover rate. There is absolutely no point in farming an area that is not very active. I don't care if it's the best neighborhood in town. If you're only going to sell one house out of it in a 5-year market, that's a problem. You shouldn't. Feel free to drop in some flyers if you've got the extra money, but ultimately you're looking for an area that turns the most revenue, turns the most crop. And yes, I'm going to stay on these farming examples the entire time today. So to get the rate of the homes, you heard me say turnover rate. I want you to just look back 1 year, look over 12 months. How many homes were listed for sale in the area you're looking at? How many of them sold? You can very quickly find this information on Zillow. You can easily find it on the MLS. You want to know the rate of the homes sold to tell us how many months of inventory are in that neighborhood. So take your time. Let's say 1 year, 365 days. Divide that by the number of homes sold. For example, if there were 16 homes sold in this farming area last year, you can divide 365 days by 16 homes sold, and you're going to get 22.8. So now we know that in that farm area, the rate of the home sale is roughly 23 days, right? Stick with me. We're going to get to the absorption rate. To do this, you're going to multiply the number of the homes sold by the rate of the homes sold. So sticking with that same example, you're going to have 2 active listings in the farm. So we're going to do 2 times 22.8, which is going to get you to 45.6, or about 1.5 months. That is a reasonable absorption rate. The average is going to vary. But the quick rule, you're looking for less than 3 months. As long as you can maintain less than 3 months, you're on track. So now that you know that the current market condition of the farm you've chosen is pretty hot, as long as your market condition remains consistent, you should continue to farm there. Next, you're going to gather information about the farm area and get to know the market backward and forward. In addition to understanding the average sales prices, the days on the market, you're going to need to know the average age, income of the homeowners, typical home style, age and income of the workers in the community, local employers, upcoming developments, zoning and permitting regulations, neighborhood amenities, local agents that are your competition, people that have sold and listed properties inside that community. There's plenty of tools inside the MLS to already do this for you. And certainly there's market reports like Altos Research that you can populate that information very quickly. But ultimately, arm yourself with the neighborhood knowledge that you need, and this is going to immediately help you stick out when you're building leads from your efforts. Number 2, plan how and when to deliver the value to your farm. Agents crushing the neighborhood farming game are going to deliver very consistent value to the residents in that area. Successful outreach is going to be more than just papering the neighborhood with your branded message. It's about offering something that helps locals be attracted to you and the area, a market report, a local event strategy, a social media group, or even a neighborhood website. These are the things that are going to help you always be in the face and always understand what that community is looking for. The neighborhood strategy is going to go a long way to easily establish you as that local expert. So it's very easy to do. Once a month, once a month, send out the postcards to your farm. We like postcard media. They work very well for us. Their designs are simple. It's easy to utilize them. Try to include images of recently sold properties. No, they do not have to be yours, but obviously there's a lot more clout to it. But make sure that you're advertising correctly. A lot of homes are selling in your neighborhood. Have you tried our strategy to sell your home for maximum pricing in the shortest amount of time? That's it. Your farm is going to recognize the homes. They're going to absolutely understand how they can associate you with the neighborhood, and that you understand the activity that's going on around them. Number 3, make a plan so that you can manage and track those leads as they come in. Your real estate leads are going to differ from those that you pay for or capture on your website. So be sure that you're tracking them separately. A solid customer relationship manager, CRM, is going to allow you to tag farm contacts individually. Tagging is critical for you to be able to see at the end of your sales cycle, where's your money coming from? Where are you spending the most? Where are you getting the most lucrative prospects? Where are your leads generating from? You may find that you're paying for Zillow, you're paying for realtor.com, you're doing direct marketing, and you're doing farming. Which one's turning the most crop? Period. It's also going to help you automate some of your digital communications, like your emails and your text messages to these folks. It'll also help you create a record of the value that you're delivering over the life of your farming activity. And again, this is a minimum of a 1 year requirement for you to be able to farm a year successfully. You cannot jump into a neighborhood, blast them for a quarter, and expect to turn results. It's simply not going to happen. People have been ahead of you. You've already got competition in the area. Nobody expects you to be a brand name overnight by not being recognized. It's also going to create a record of value for you that you're going to start delivering over the life of the farming activity. Plus, if you can track carefully each reply that you get, you can even ensure prompt follow-up. So every single point of contact has a measurable return on that value. If you still don't have a CRM of value, God knows I have demoed plenty of them. I have used several of them simultaneously, doubling my own efforts just to see where one CRM might create better value than another. I will tell you that it's, as far as pricing goes, this one is probably one of the highest costs in a CRM, but the value absolutely pays for itself. I can tell you, it's very easy to see when a CRM is creating effort or duplicating efforts for you while you're asleep and doing the work for you while you're out creating direct relationships with your client, as opposed to you doing all of this hustle manually and pulling up your moleskin binder and doing all this hand. I got to tell you, one of my top picks for best overall CRM is LionDesk, period. It's owned and operated by Lone Wolf Technologies. It is still reasonably affordable, packed with real estate specific features and ideal for farming. And certainly, not that they owe me a sponsorship, but if I'm going to keep bragging on you guys, you might want to come to the table soon. Number 4, start delivering value. You have chosen the right farm area. So make a plan to deliver very consistent value. You need to set up the system to manage and track your interactions. So now it's time to automate those communications and set out a high touch outreach with your postcards and your market updates. Successfully farming an area is going to combine long-term automated communication and smart day-by-day personal follow-up. As we have said in the past, staying consistent, consistency is the key. You're going to start hearing from potential clients after just a few months. You're going to be able to get those one-to-one conversations. You're going to be able to hear from people that may have had their home listed in your golden neighborhood for too long, might start to doubt their real estate agent. Please, by the way, little side note, you are a real estate agent too. Nothing would upset you more than feeling like somebody stole your customer. Clients naturally get frustrated. We live in a society of immediate satisfaction is the need of the day. So please understand that if someone calls you, hey, my house has been on the market for a long time, would you mind talking to me about it? Your first question out of your mouth is, I want to ensure that you have a good relationship with your real estate agent. If you do not currently, and if you're having problems beyond your house selling, let's talk through that, see if we can salvage the relationship you already have. Believe me, you're putting it out to the universe. It'll go a long way to making sure these same things aren't done to you. So be kind to others. Do not scout. It's absolutely not a requirement. There is plenty of business out there for everybody. Now that you have set up your strategy, it's time to go outside of the box a bit. I need you to think about neighborhood events, Door knocking. In a small community, walking door to door and just making sure that the neighborhood knows who you are is nice. Circle prospecting in your farm is critical. And I don't mean just sending out postcards either. I mean in your social media platforms, your Google searches, your Facebook advertisements. You need to be very specific in the area that you're trying to target and that neighborhood messaging that we're talking about. We're going to dive into that a little bit more, but that's all to say, if you are active in the communities you're serving, your clients and your wallet will thank you later. If you're looking for a lot of clever real estate marketing ideas, by the way, we have plenty of information here inside of our channel. Feel free to utilize everything that we've got. It's at your disposal. We do this for you. So please let us know if we can help you with an idea that might have popped up. Give us a call directly. We're happy to vet through some of these with us. Maybe we can both make some money together. That would be great. Market Leader, by the way, is a great tool that you can use to help automate some of your real estate processes. From the very beginning stages of lead generation all the way to closing the deal. Its lead intel and functionality can help you track, analyze behavior a little bit of your contacts, alert you to potential hot leads based on activity. You can also get a committed member of executive lead from those areas. So anything that's going to help you with automation or marketing campaigns, seamless integration into your social media, anything that's going to save you time to help you manage your own branding and your MLS listings and more. Believe me, you want to take advantage of it. So how much is all this supposed to cost, Alex? This is great. You've got your own channel. You've got a good audience. You got money to throw around. No, real estate pays for real estate. So when I sell properties, I like to invest a certain percentage of my budget back into my marketing strategy for the year. If I see that my marketing dollars aren't going the right direction, I need to be prepared to move those monies. If I don't track it, where did the lead come from? Conversation to contract to close. How are those gaps? How long is the timeline? What's my runway? From the time I first get that hot lead, how did I generate it? How long does it take me to get them into a sale is critical information. So unfortunately, there is, yes, cost to get started, but if you do it right, your efforts are going to pay off tenfold, no question. I promise you, if you keep the consistency rule in play and you keep doing this for a solid year in a neighborhood, you are absolutely guaranteed to at least get one lead out of all of that strategy. Try to keep that in mind as you're not going to get that immediate return of satisfaction. So just making sure that if you're spending money on what you think are less expensive offerings, you're going to get less expensive results. So startup costs that we're talking about here for developing a farming area is going to be a little bit different for everyone, and especially where you are farming at. However, I've run the numbers several times over several years for what I consider fair and typical real estate farming for an operation of about 250 homes. The bottom line estimate comes out to around, for a full year's worth of effort, about $10,000. I can break it down into the following things and tell you what the big ticket items are. The regularly scheduling postcards, so 250 postcards. If you blanket the whole area, and there are strategies behind how you utilize online formulas to figure out which of the highest potential is out there too. But if you're going to blanket the whole 250 houses, you're looking at about 250 postcards times 8 mail outs a year. You're looking at about $2,000. So your estimated postcard is about $1 a card. And yes, that includes the stamp and the postage. On-demand property status postcards, so that we've got a property listed in your area, we've got a property under contract, we've got a property that is sold in your area. Also, about 250 cards out of 12 months. Is anywhere between $2,000 and $3,000 there. Estimated cost at that same $1 a postcard. If you're going to do quarterly letters, that's 250 houses times 4. that's going to be $1,000. And yes, you can save all of this if you have a fully digital platform that is making sure to hit that area and blanket that area from a social media perspective. You can do all of this from a social media line, almost free, damn near free. But this is a physical farming technique. Door hangers for the annual knocking, and I said it right there. Annual knocking session. I'm not talking about going out every week. I'm talking about once a year. You need to make sure that you're a physical presence in the neighborhood that you've been blanketing with postcards, etc. So you're looking at, again, 250 houses, $2 a piece for a nice door knocker, $500. Neighborhood websites. This is probably the biggest expense out of all of it. If you are investing in spinning up a neighborhood website so that when people are looking for properties in Tampa or buying houses in Tampa or Tampa real estate or luxury Tampa or whatever your website's going to be, it is expensive. It's going to help draw, but ultimately, all of your marketing had better push things to that strategy so that people can actually find it and you generate leads from it. That's probably the highest expense. If you are not a web person or cannot develop a good, strong web presence and you don't know how to manage through a website, save that expense because there's other things that you probably need to be doing with that money. Farm specific content on your website is free. So the more special activities and things you put up there, do not just throw a website up for a year and don't change the content. You either need to have houses that you are promoting or things you are promoting or social things that you are promoting inside of that. One sponsored event a year. I don't care if it's an ice cream social. I don't care if it's an ice cream truck. All right. Bank $1,000 towards that type of event. A coffee and croissants at the neighborhood clubhouse, donut day, whatever you got to do. Please give yourself plenty of time to market an event. Way too often do I see real estate agents that just go off on a wild hair and think that within a week they can go ahead and plan it. And yes, I'm talking to my open house folks. You cannot plan a successful open house in a week and generate anything more than foot traffic. Thank goodness for yard signs because that's the only way you're going to get people in there that way. You need to learn how to promote and market an event before you spend the time and the energy doing it. I realize sometimes you're under the gun from your customer, but if you would have had the right communication strategy and you're consistently talking to them, these kind of things don't come up. Next. And again, understandably, $10,000 for a starting up of a farming area is going to seem like an alarmingly high figure. It's not like you're doing that immediately. January 1, here's 10 grand. I'm talking about a budget that's going to be spread throughout the year as you sell properties outside your area that's going to help promote inside the area. That may be your entire marketing budget. Understood. But when you consider that a typical home sale is about $400,000 with your typical 3% commission, that's $12,000 from one closing, for example. That should pay to supplement your farming efforts for the entire year plus. Next, essential real estate farming tools, right? Nobody's going to harvest crops without having the right tools and the right understanding of the land that they are tilling to get things done. So you need to understand, go out, do the research, real estate postcards, on-demand postcards, blog content, market update letters, market update videos, door hangers, home value updates via email. Yes, the CMA is still incredibly popular, and real estate agents can do it faster and cheaper than an appraiser. May not be as accurate, and certainly it cannot be presented as an official appraisal, but as far as market analysis is concerned, far and above exceeds what a direct appraisal can do for a consumer. And then, of course, your sponsoring event. Don't forget all of those things. You need to be able to make sure that all of these marketings are calendared. You're not going to miss any of these steps. You have to consistently churn the dirt, plant the new seeds, consistently till and weed and take care of the crops. Otherwise, They do not come to fruition with fruit, period. It doesn't happen. So get yourself a good calendar. At minimum, use a good Outlook or a Google Calendar so that you can put things in the calendar of when you're supposed to do it for the entire year. There's lots of circle prospecting lead strategies that are out there. Copy one. There's a ton of them. It should be easy for you to replicate. Farm specific content. This should be done at least monthly. There should be changes to what they're seeing online. The farm should have a dedicated section on your website and its own website, if at all possible. Do weekly updates, micro neighborhood market updates, neighborhood going on, the events around town. Your content can be short and sweet, and yes, they will see sponsored by your local real estate agent. If you're in need of a website, by the way, and you want to revamp an existing one, there are tons of sites out there that will do this for you easily. They do the IDX integrations, they do the SEO tools. If you're going to be promoting what types of commissions you're going to be doing, stay away from the IDX connectors, because then you're going to be in violation of all of your MLS laws or MLS rules and regulations. So be careful about what you're posting. Make sure it's not a commission-based post. And then, of course, your market update letters, those are going to be direct to customer. So real estate letters can share in-depth, very thoughtful market insights and analysis. What's going on in the community? We'll drive around, see what's being built, see what people might be talking about. If they have a Facebook group and a lot of things are going on in that Facebook group, mention a few of them. Mention some of the hot topics and direct people to the Facebook group if they want more information. Remember, the residents are your local media source, so be careful. Of course, they're upset about certain things. I wish more of the neighborhood Facebook groups were wrapped around doing great things together, or neighborhood camaraderie, or those types of things, but they typically end up being a venting and trolling session. So be careful not to draw too much negative attention to yourself by pointing at the negative problems. Which brings you to that neighborhood website, which is why that's more beneficial to you than, say, a Facebook site, because you can create unlimited number of neighborhood sites doing it that way. You can establish your credibility, improve website ranking through SEO. You can make sure that the messaging is strong and the way that the pictures are displayed and all of that are attractive, the things that people want to look at, right? Don't make it an eyesore. And if you're using a 1980s or 1990s or early 2000s software to generate it, just get out of the market and hang up your license. Do me the favor. Door hangers, that annual door knocking session. Again, you're not politicking, but you want to make sure that someone can see you and appreciate you and remind them. I send you guys market updates, neighborhood and community updates directly, and I send you postcards. If you need anything, you're not required to use my services just for us to build a relationship together. We're neighbors. I live either in your community or nearby. Yes, I am looking to generate business, but my advisement is free. So feel free to talk to me. Let's go have a cup of coffee. You might think that hanging a door hanger is a complete waste of time and money, but I'm telling you, before I got into the real estate agent business, I would throw away door hangers I got on my home all day long, but it wasn't until I became a more experienced professional to realize that a door hanger is still the most effective marketing for yourself. And even though they're throwing it out, they still looked at it, they still read it. And if it's attractive, they probably looked at it for more than a minute. If you happen to hang, and this is just timing of the universe, by the way, if you happen to hang a door hanger when somebody is either upset at a neighbor and ready to move, or upset that a local gas station is being built in the front of their community and they're not happy about what it's going to do to the traffic, then that door hanger is saying that, hey, interested in selling your home or interested in evaluating what it would take to sell your home, trust me, that may be all it needs to get that phone ringing for you. Pro tip. Please keep safety in mind when you're door knocking, agents. You need to ensure that you have established precautions when you're doing this. Letting other people know where you're going to be. Doing door knocking with a partner is nice. a lender or another agent can walk with you. These are great ideas, and it's going to keep everybody abreast of you. You're doing smart things in smart timing. Please keep yourself out of harm's way. Unfortunately, even the best of neighborhoods, you're going to run into a grumpy person that just doesn't want you there and might be a little more than abusive when you show up and knock at their door. By the way, introducing yourself to a neighbor isn't a solicitation. It is a, hey, yes, I own a real estate business too, and I'd love to talk to you about that, but I wanted to let you know I was in the area doing other real estate work and didn't want you to think there was some stranger walking around. Here's my business card if you ever need to talk. Automated CMA emails. A lot of homeowners struggle with being able to confidently estimate the value of their home. Let's face it. I can go to 5 big websites, Zillow, Realtor.com, all of those guys included, Homes.com. All of them are going to give me a different evaluation of what my home is worth. When you're dealing with those types of strategies, anything that you can do to help make a person understand that the physical presence of an agent walking in your home, helping you with an analysis, that's the hot button. Zillow has never walked into my house and helped me understand what the true value of my home is, or why my home is more or less valuable than the other homes being represented in my community. You need to make that very clear to people. Why would I need a real estate agent? I can do all this online. Yes, you absolutely can. You can also do it wrong. You can also do the wrong paperwork. You can also have the wrong conversations. You can also misrepresent your house. You can also get sued because you didn't use a real estate agent. No different than you went into court and thought you were smart enough to represent yourself in front of a judge and do not know your way around a courtroom. I will advise people 1,000,000 times over. Way too many people lose money in a courtroom because the other agent was smarter, period. And if you're representing your house by yourself, chances are the buyer that comes in to buy your home is represented by an agent. So you are already under the bed, getting beat by a bag full of soap, rather than understanding how intelligent that you need to be when you're representing one of the largest investments in your portfolio. Zillow's got this cool feature, by the way, called Home Reports. It will allow you to obtain regular updates about your home's value. But again, this is a hot zestimate, and customers need to understand that as of the time of that writing, there's a national median error rate of about 7%, 7.06 if you want to get specific about it. So be careful, but understand that your clients are using it online because they think it's a quick, free service to give them a quick understanding. And I'm going to say that again. They're going to Zillow so they can get a quick understanding of what their home's worth. Take it to the next level. Hey, I'm sure you've checked out a Zillow or a Homes.com or a Realtor.com, and you kind of think you have an idea of what your home's worth. Let me walk in with you and you tour the home for me and show me everything that I need to know about the house. Let's get a true evaluation of what your house is worth in today's market with today's competition. And then let's talk about that annual sponsored event just a little bit, right? I don't care whether you're throwing a summer block party, barbecue, holiday gathering, wine and cheese tasting, or Super Bowl watch party. None of it matters. Considering more than a third of your buyers are going to use real estate agents anyway, they knew they were being referred in. This is a fantastic method for you to be able to expand your sphere of influence, get more buyer leads, and people actually give you the attention that you're looking for that they aren't going to do by just a blind email. If you're new to events, start with something that you know how to do. Pumpkin giveaway, October trivia night. Try sponsoring a neighborhood garage sale or something. Community fireworks display in July is a big one. The community is going to need you to volunteer some money and some efforts, but they'll allow you to put some signs out. Tonight's fireworks display is sponsored by you and your company. That's great. Do not forget your brokerage when you're out there. They are the reason that you don't get your butt suit off every time you say something incorrectly or misrepresent something. They're the reason that you should be educated in this platform. And when you are advertising publicly, their logo deserves just as much credit as yours does. Pro tip. Another unique tool that you can use when you're farming activities to deliver pop by gifts, right? Very small, inexpensive gift that you can send on occasion. Holiday, simply encourage interaction. $2 to $5, pop by gift ideas. There's some clever articles out there, and they're typically holiday centric. And that's what people are going to remember when it comes down to these things. Um, where does social media fit into the real estate farming network that we're talking about now? Social media will not replace traditional farming techniques, period. Um, it can go a long way to enhancing them. A lot of the local neighborhoods have their own Facebook groups, which I've talked about. Some homeowner associations even have dedicated websites, social profiles, not to mention active residents on social platforms. There's plenty of social media posting ideas. You can find that in our library as well when you're looking out there. Um, we've even got some proven techniques that we go into deep discussions on inside our library of videos. So please help yourself. That's the reason that they're there. But start by connecting with members of your farm area by using your own personal social media profile. Make sure that it's listed on your card or listed on all of your letters that you're sending out to them. Then, if you're using Facebook, for example, create a custom audience for specific posts. These are people that truly were interested in learning who you are. Facebook, if you own a business, goes beyond just your friends and your family. Your friends and your family should absolutely understand that you are also trying to run a business. So try to make sure that they know, don't get insulted or don't leave my platform just because of that. You want to make sure that you're not going to be saying anything offended, but it's great that you be able to advertise on a platform that large. Got a couple of easy questions. Wow, several questions. Let me pick a couple of easy ones. Why is it called farming? So think of what it would take to farm like a big field of tomatoes, right? You gotta select the field, you gotta plow the soil, you gotta plant the seeds, you gotta stake the plants, you gotta weed, prune, monitor, track progress, and ultimately harvest the tomatoes. It's not a real stretch to think real estate farming is the same way. It requires careful preparation, attention to the details, and some patience for the process to bear the fruits of your labor. And yeah, knowing when to get out of the rain, man, could ultimately be just that simple. What kind of activities constitute real estate farming? I think I described that really well. Why does my real estate farm have to be 500 houses or less? Well, it's because of your budget. When it comes to real estate farming, bigger is not necessarily better. Geographic real estate farming is a very effective marketing strategy because you're targeting a very specific audience, a very specific set of homes. Think of it as they are in a bubble and you only want to talk about the things that are inside of that bubble. You don't care what's going on outside. This is about them, and the messaging should be very selfishly targeted towards them. What kind of results should I expect from a real estate farm? Great. If you tracked it properly, like we discussed in today's talk, you're going to be able to determine the return of investment, your ROI, in your particular farm, strictly because every market is a little bit different, but your success is going to depend on the area specific information. That is going to include all the types of homes on the market. This is a sort of agent competition, if you will, that you're going to be facing inside of your neighborhood. So, how long you've been active in the area and the messaging that you are putting forward is what they're going to remember you for. If all you're talking about is puppies and babies, trust me, that's the only people that you're going to have reading your blog. So, great questions today, guys. Love the activity and thank you so much. Closing, farming is a very effective means of prospecting. It develops a very consistent source by the seller and for buyer leads. Best part of farming is the rate of return on that investment is going to improve over time. The more your messages get more refined, get sharp to what's actually going on in your market, the more people will recognize it. the more sales will start in that neighborhood and things will improve. And as people are putting their house on the market or considering buying in other communities, it will help them realize why they should be selecting not only that community, but why they should be doing business with you. If you got a great real estate farming idea that I didn't cover, hey, like, subscribe, and contribute. Your comments go a long way to how we develop the next thing we talk about in our channel, and we are not afraid to get trolled and talk about the things that are maybe a little less than obvious. So thanks everybody for your time today. We appreciate you so much. Have a great day, do good business, and we'll see you next week.